You are watching the number one podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, and one of your hosts, Juan.
I'm your other host, Jean Paul Leck.
And together we are
Rope
Rope
Break.
Break. How's every single one of you? Wednesday, 10/15, April 15, 2020, and it was a sad day for professional wrestling. A lot of people lost their jobs, but we addressed that in a previous video. A lot of people in WWE had to be let go, and Jean Paul has breaking news. Vince McMahon kind of confirmed that 40% of their employees he will lose. All of these people will be let go, so expect more releases in the days to follow. So we just want to say again, love and support for everybody that's been without a job, but this is a global situation, and this will get better. People will come out. We will enjoy the things that we used to enjoy before the situation. Let's keep the hope up. Everybody stay safe, and if you guys can stay home, stay home. Right, Jean Paul Eck?
Exactly. Couldn't
So,
have said it any better.
well, thank you very much. So, AEW Dynamite, Jean Paul. We had a good show for today. I will say not as good as previous Dynamites, maybe because not all the main top stars were there. So that's why we kind of have I will say a mid car show. Like a lot of people that lost in the previous weeks got enhancement talent and they won. And we also had a World Heavyweight AEW Championship match. Jake Hager going against Gia Moxley. So that was pretty much the theme of the whole show. So your thoughts on that? Was it good? Was it okay? Was it
Overall, it was a pretty okay show. I mean, the first match we get, opening for the TNT title tournament, that was a pretty good match. Then, like you said, it was pretty much like all the losers from last week had enhancement matches to get a win this week. And we got Chucky T versus Kip Sabian was a pretty decent match. And then the main event, but, to me, the video packages got me excited and hyped up for this match. But then once I came down from that, came back to reality, it was, well, in the end, Moxley's going to win. I mean, you knew it would still be a legit match, a tough match. These guys are going to be trying to wear each other out, beat each other down. But at the end of the day, when you know Moxley's going to win, it's kind of a little bit you're not nothing against Moxley, but it's not like you have to watch the whole thing so intently because it's like, oh, what if he loses, or what if it's, he's going to win. There's not going to be any major title changes, any major craziness, especially on AEW side during all this. They're just trying to entertain us as the weeks go by. They're not looking to make any major moves, and unfortunately, I think this match really suffered from there being no crowd.
I will say that maybe need a little bit more cinematic, like they've been doing in WWE, a little bit of I would say Gargano and Ciampa. That would be how I would have done it. Maybe, of course, I'm not saying you gotta imitate or copy WWE. I'm just saying maybe it would have sounded a little better. But I agree with you. The match was really brutal, street fight, no holds bar. But in the end, we knew John Moxley was gonna keep the championship. Why? Because they're not gonna do a title change specifically in this moment that we're going through. So Jean Paul, also news on AEW, Double or Nothing is going to take place as scheduled. There's not going to be in the MGM Arena though. They're going to move it to a different venue. They will take place in the MGM Arena on next year on 2021. So the only thing that we just need to find news about is where is it going to take place. But everybody at least is saying is going to run as scheduled. So let's before we start again, thank you to everybody that has been watching our videos, supporting us in all the social media platforms. Thank you again, comments, everything. Please go ahead. We're here to respond every single one of you. We love every single one of you, and we want all of you to be healthy. AEW Dynamite open up with the Snake Roberts, and every time that the Snake Roberts opens the show, I get excited. I get hooked. I get invested right away. It's like those kind of things that you're like, all right, in the Snake Zone, I gotta throw everything I'm doing and let's start watching. And he pretty much says that the TNT championship has been put on just to crown Lars Archer as the new champion. He's saying this man is the right man to win it. He's upset because he had to move to Japan. He had to be taken out of his home country just to become a wrestler and just to become a popular wrestler. So he's an angry man. So he wanted to come back and prove everybody that he's a main event talent. And he says that like this is a bone that they throw to them, and they grab them and they're gonna run with it. They says every time the Lars Archer is in the ring, he's proven that he's the best man. He says, "Oh, Colt Cabana, I know you. I've seen you. I know what you're capable of. You're a great wrestler, but nowhere near as what Lars Archer will ever be." He's saying, this is just a meaningless match because what we want is Cody. That's our main goal, and to get that championship because that will be the beginning for Lars Archer. So pretty much that's what he says. So we go like to the show itself, and we get the Le Champion Chris Jericho. He's gonna be on commentary one more time with Tony Eschiobani or Chobani, and in their own commentary. So we get a video package now from Colt Cabana, in which he says he felt that the AEW brass and a section of the fans didn't expect much of him when he joined. But he says Lars Archer has been dominant in Japan for a long time, and they're happy to have him in AEW, but he's been dominant in Japan, India, England, and Germany, and all over the world. He says he's not looking past Archer. He's a big dude, but he's been in big dudes before. So he says his goals is to hold the TNT championship, and when it's all said and done, and that's what he's thinking about. So they have the match, Jean Paul. I will say decent. Colt Cabana didn't look bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's, before this, you had two legit, promos, video packages, whatever, hyping up this match. And I like that, how they're kind of hyping up each match. They did the same thing with Cody and Shawn Spears. I hope they do the same thing with Kip Sabian and Dustin Rhodes. And like you said, the match wasn't bad, but in the end, Colt Cabana got a little bit of offense in at the end. And like he said, and when he was cutting that promo, he was talking about me because I was one of those guys who was like, he's coming in. I'm like, whenever I seen stuff with this guy, it's more like he said, more like jokey, trying to be charismatic. I'm like, there's no way he's like I knew he was legit, but I'm like, he's not going to act legit. He's not going to come in there like
a little
Lance
over
Archer.
The top. That's what.
Yeah. He's not like Lance Archer where he's going to come in there and kick your ass. He's more like he likes to have fun and this and that. But like you said, he can turn it on when he needs to. And I think he tried in this match, but he couldn't overcome the Murder Hawk. So.
Well, yeah, we knew that Lars Archer was going to get the win. He's the big man. They're pushing him. Like, he's with the snake. Like, even Jericho says, it's like, what else do you want? What else do you need? It's like, you're a big dude. Like, you're good in the ring, and you have the snake by your side. It's like, it has, like, champion written all over it. Like, it's a no-brainer. So,
exactly.
Pretty much, yeah, the match, like, I don't know, Jean Paul. I don't know if I wanted to see Cabana getting that much offense on Archer, but at neither point. There was no point in the match that, like, kind of Archer felt like he was going to lose or like he felt intimidated.
Oh no, and I know what you're saying, but I don't really mind it because you don't want to make Cabana look like a loser because they still have plans for Colt Cabana. He's not one of those guys who he comes in, oh okay, so then you get your ass kicked by Lance Archer and then okay, see you later. He's going to be used. He's one of those guys. Clearly, he's been to a lot of these shows since they had to go to the empty arenas and stuff. So they're depending on him. So they're going to have him there, and that's why I think they kind of made him look. He had a little bit of offense. He didn't just job out. But to me, it also lessens the fact that he had offense in because you also had Marco Stunt have a little bit of offense as well. So it's one thing where it's like, but that's why I think they did it because they don't want to make any of those guys complete jobbers. But, Lance Archer, I agree with you. Like you said, there was never a moment where it's like, oh, my God, is he going to lose? No, you knew he was going to win, and he's going to be in the finals of this tournament.
And that's what exactly happened. Cabana runs and hits a hip attack into the corner. Then Cabana takes the middle rope and hits a splash for a 2 count. So that was a decent spot. Then Cole hits some like a measure punches on Archer, but Archer is all smiling. Even he goes like, right here, and nothing. So he doesn't sell it. So then Cabana hits the bionic elbow, but Archer hits the ropes and comes right back. And then he pounds Archer with then Archer hits a chokeslam. He hits the chokeslam, so Cabana is like all done. And then pretty much Archer goes with a blackout for the win. But see, like he was able to lift him up all the way, like, and Cabana is kind of big. So I really appreciate how he hit the finisher.
Yeah, Lance Archer is strong as hell. I mean, look at the guy. He's big, he's tough. Like Jericho said, you got to be a bad, bad man to be wearing red dreads like that, out in public. He's like, only certain guys can, pull that off without getting made fun of because nobody's going to make fun of Lance Archer.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
He did a good job. And he advances. So like we knew this. Okay, it's not that wrestling sometimes can be a little bit predictable, but hey, he's the bigger man. He has this nick. That's all we
Mm.
gotta say. So we get after that. We get a package from Dr. Britt Baker. She's gonna have some action. She's gonna be in action, and she's like in her I will in her cool. What is it called? Like in like
But, oh, she's just like in her. It looks like she was at work, like in the dentist,
in the
like
dentist office.
whatever the
Yeah,
dentist office, whatever you want to call it. Even though those all shut down because you don't want to be near people's mouths during all this,
just
pandemic. But
saying.
so
Just
yeah,
saying.
I don't know what that was because she was getting like a syringe ready too. And like you said, she was cutting a promo, which you'll take us
Yeah,
through. But it was just like
yeah.
a weird setting. It was like I would have preferred it if she was just like at home where she should be if she's not wrestling. But hey.
Yeah, she was in like her doctor's office because we know she's a dentist. So she says she's giving us a rundown on the rules of how to be a role model. And she says a role model always fights fair. Rule number one. She says that Hikaru Shida did not fight fair last week when she broke her nose, but she'll show how to fight fair tonight. And then we get like a little bit of video packages from a lot of like figures and everything that like will be pumping up the match with like Jake Hager and John Moxley. So then we get Ariel Helwan, and then he's appear on the video, and then he's like, oh, he's saying that he supports like his fellow MMA guy Jake Hager, and then he's gonna beat John Moxley tonight. He's gonna become the new AEW champion. Then Halloween says like Hager has done it all, and he'll become champion tonight. Taz is also appearing there, and he says that Moxley needs to like steer clear of the mat and make it like a street fight, in that case Moxley will retain. So like
Now,
this was like cool.
what did you think? Because they had a lot more of these than I personally would have done. Taz to me was legit because he was on commentary a few times. He commentates on Dark and this and that, and he's a guy who does do that submission kind of style and this and that. So Taz they always presented Taz when he was wrestling in ECW, WWE, like legit. So I was fine to hear from him and from a couple Bellator guys, but we didn't need to hear from like every member of the inner circle. And like I felt like they could have took half of these and got rid of them. These
Yeah,
look like vignettes,
overly
like
done.
cell phone promos. It's like okay. Especially for a match, which again, no offense, has been only really been hyping for like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah,
Not
no,
even
and
like it's like 2-3 weeks, and it's like I'm not really that excited for this match because it's like it's not like Moxley versus Omega 2 or like Moxley versus Cody Rhodes or somebody like that. It's like Jake Hager. Yeah, he's legit, but he's only the bodyguard to Jericho in the inner circle. He's not going to be the world champion, so it's like
especially because of those reasons, because we haven't seen him as the guy, it's a lot more difficult to think of him as the guy because if
yeah.
he's not going to be portrayed as that. And the one that I didn't really understand was the comedian. Why would they have a
Oh
comedian
yeah.
there? Like, so that means the next time we're going to be cutting a promo in AEW Dynamite. That would be really nice. But like you said, a little bit overdone. Especially you have the whole inner circle doing it. Like all of them are going to go with Hager.
Yeah.
Why will you have
Yeah.
so?
What do you think? Like Guevara is going to be like, so I think Moxley's going to win. No,
No.
come on.
So okay. So a little bit of overdone, like you said, and we're going to get a little bit of the Bubbly Bunch, a new skit that they had like on AEW. But before we go to Dr. Britt Baker against Cassandra Golden, extremely quick match. Like I said, like pretty just to enhance Britt Baker.
Yep.
And
This is the first of many matches where like the loser last week gets a quick win because they're like, well, we're gonna do the 50-50 booking, even though we don't book our shows like that other company, that
yeah,
does 50-50 booking, but here we are doing it this
the,
week.
the the one thing I feel that like Jean Paul they did this just because like they didn't want to like keep using the same talent, kind of like because of like they know that like being being in contact, like wrestling is a sport, is a combat sport, like contact. So probably they wanted to keep using the same people and kind of risking it for like a possible coronavirus, being contagious and everything. I
Yeah,
just feel
but
that like
I
that's
mean,
what they
on
kind of
that,
like.
not to prove you wrong, but on that, wouldn't you want to keep using the same people so you're not spreading it over? You would keep
I
it
guess,
contained with
but
like
if
10
you saw it,
people
like
versus
neither.
including like 20 people.
And there were like a lot of people that we saw last week that they were not there this week. So I guess that's my opinion. Maybe like yours.
I think they're doing it just maybe like to kind of give a break to some people, but like I said, we saw, Sean Spears, Britt Baker, all these people get a win tonight that they lost last week, Sammy Guevara. So it's like,
Yeah, it was like that though. I agree
yeah.
with that. Like they
It would
needed
have
like to
been cool. I mean,
hype it.
I don't know. Again, there's stuff going on in the real world too, but it's like, where is the women's champion, Nyla Rose? Where is Omega and Paige? Jericho even said something on the show. He's like, "Where's Hangman Page? We haven't seen him
We
forever." I
haven't
think
seen
that was in the
Adam
Bubbly
Hangman
one.
Page in like
Yeah,
forever.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. So pretty much the match begin and Baker drops Golden with a super kick right away. Then Baker puts Golden on the middle rope and taunts her, and then she puts her teeth over the rope and stomps her down.
Done.
Covers 1, 2, 3. Pretty quick, All right. So then we get a video package of people making predictions for tonight's title matches, including Mike Goldberg of Bellator fame and actor Ronald Funches. So that's what I'm saying. Why would
Mm-hmm.
you have like so many Bellator guys, so many like comedians, people that to me they're not pretending to
Yeah, there
wrestling.
should have been somebody like Darby Allen or somebody like that. I mean, maybe he's still selling the broken voice thing, which it's like, okay, you're not Bumblebee from the Transformers movie. Your voice is legit. Like, how about you talk? So I don't like. I would have done it where it's like, I wrestled John Moxley, blah blah blah. Like, I know how crazy he is. He'll never give up. Like, there should have been somebody who was a wrestler cutting a promo like that on John Moxley, or like more so. It shouldn't have just been all Bellator in the inner circles. There was like one or two people who was like, I think John Moxley's gonna win, and then it was like 95%. Everybody was like, so Jake Hager.
Yeah, everybody was like Jake Hager, and then just two people, Moxley, and then in the end, we know who won. So you're right. So that's the one of like I didn't like the like a lot of the video packages, but like that's just me. But I see that you agree with me. So we see a video of the inner circle called the Bubbly Bunch, and then that's them at home and FaceTime to each other, and then talking trash about the elite. That was pretty much what it was. Kind of fun. Even Sammy Guevara is like, yeah, like I know more Spanish than what he does, talking about like the elite and Matt Hardy and all of that. And he was like, un, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, 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 cinco. And then there's like Santana and Ortiz, they were talking with each other. I don't know if this is kind of needed. Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. It was like okay to break it up. I feel like they're trying a little too hard though, with like the inner circle and all that stuff. Like, and now WWE is the same way. Maybe it's just modern wrestling as a whole, but I feel like whenever something like funny happens, they just grab it and they run with it instead of it just being like, okay, you did something funny, just let it go, and then just be funny naturally. Because like they're, I'm sure there's probably going to be a shirt tomorrow called the Bubbly Bunch, and it's going to be on a T-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. Like they just, everything is like about a T-shirt or marketing or like being funny. And not saying that this diminishes the inner circle and makes them less legit, but I like when we saw them and they would just show up as a gang and just beat people down. And I guess I liked them more when Jericho was the world champ, and they would be like, "Yeah, we're legit. We're in a group with the world champ." Now it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, you guys are like running around like you own the place, thinking you're like the hottest thing on the show, but it's like none of you have gold. You don't have tag team gold. You don't have
And they're not even
world
winners.
championship
They
gold.
don't win a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah, they
Sammy
don't win.
Guevara loses way more than he wins. Santana and Ortiz haven't been on TV since I don't know when. Jake Hager lost tonight. Jericho is getting freaking invaded by Vanguard 1. So it's like, you guys are the Bubbly Bunch.
Yeah,
And then that's
it
where
is
you're
like
going to stay.
yeah, it is hard to produce entertainment when it comes to like everybody. I think also like is it thinking about like the virus? How am I going to get back to work? Our minds are not completely there for us to just be like, okay, let me be entertained by you. And
Mm-hmm.
when this is a I don't want to say like a very lackluster effort, but like I didn't like it too much. Like they need to, for example, like the video package with like Soul Train Jones with Virgil, things like
Oh,
that are
yeah.
funny on their own. So like they give me a little bit more of that. But anyway, Jean Paul, Sammy Guevara talking about the Spanish God. Oh, look how cute he is. Look how handsome it is. Oh, it reminds me of me when I was like younger and everything. Like Jericho pretty much selling him completely to the moon. He goes against Suj D. And so like Pineapple Pete, like pretty much like another enhancement talent. Pretty much a small, pretty short match, and Sammy Guevara gets the win. They're hyping him up because next week he's going to have the match with Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. So,
Mm-hmm.
finally he gets a win because Jean Paul. I remember when he was doing solo in the AEW reviews, he'll say he is good, but he never wins. The
Yeah,
eternal
and this
loser.
is and this is the one thing too. Like I understand you give him a win, Kip Sabian gets a win going into their matches in a tournament, but like I said, it's they haven't been winning, and it's like okay, they're not like going against anybody legit. Like we saw Jimmy Havoc in the crowd tonight. Why wasn't he wrestling?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Have him wrestle Sammy Guevara and have Sammy get a win over a guy who's like not having been made fun of, Pineapple Pete. And then on commentary, which I'm pretty sure his name is Shug D, they're like Shoes D. I'm like, what are you saying? He has a huge D? I'm like, what are you even saying here? Like, you don't even know this guy's name, and I'm supposed to pretend he's legit? I'm like, come on. At
And
this
that's
point,
the thing.
if this point I was him, I would make a financial and a career decision and just change my name to Pineapple Pete. Because if Jericho calls you that, it's already over than whatever name you had. So
Yes.
change it to Pineapple Pete and just run with it. Because like
And
Shug
go
D, they
go
already,
get a
like I
shirt.
said, they already buried his name on commentary. So it's just, and he lost in this match. So it's like, dude, change your name to Pineapple Pete, start the gimmick over, and you'll be set.
Pretty much, and we knew that like in this type of match, like the person that they were hyping to most likely wins, and that's what happened. And Sammy Guevara got the win. So Sammy kicks D or Pineapple P or PP onto his back, and then he puts him against the ropes and lights up with his chest. Then PP counters with an Irish whip, but sitting down, and then he rolls up Guevara for a 2 count. Sammy hits a lariat, then he connects with a running high knee, followed by the torture knee for the win. Pretty much like the GTS. Go to sleep, boom,
Yeah.
done, win. So Sammy Guevara wins, and then he says the post match, he goes up, he gets on the horn with the mic, and he says that like he's the Spanish god, and he says he could go for a few more runs, but like he's gonna beat the shit out of Darby Allin. Ooh, so like he starts like stomping on PP one more time. He keeps going and going and going, and Darby all of a sudden comes to make the save, and Sammy right away he leaves the ring. They're hyping up their match. They fought before, so do I really feel excited to see this one more time? I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
that
because like you said, back at Revolution, I was like, this match could steal the show if you give these guys time. They're both athletic as hell, daredevils. Like they say, Guevara's been doing this for almost 10 years. So these, legit wrestling. Everything we want to say about how they're portrayed or how they portrayed themselves on the show with their character gimmicks, all that aside, legit workers. But the match at Revolution wasn't even that good. I felt like they didn't give them enough time. It was just not at the pace I wanted it or expected it to be. And I don't feel like this match is going to be. I don't want to say it's not going to be any better, but I don't know how it could be. I don't know how they could have a match on television be better than a match that was on pay-per-view with a crowd, but it should still be decent nonetheless. So, and I think they're
yeah,
going to give it to. I think they're going to give it to Darby Allin, and then I think it's going to be Allin versus Cody, and then I think Cody's going to get his win over Darby Allin because I think they're still at the stalemate, right? Or did
yeah,
Cody beat him then? Are they
no,
just tie?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. They got to go in that path. Yeah, that's the path. Yeah. So it will be and no, and Cody won the one time. So he
Oh,
did.
okay.
So he is 1-0
Uh,
over Darby. So that will tie it
well
up.
then, okay, yeah. Well, I mean that's what I said. I think Cody will win. I don't think Darby will win. So then Cody will be up to.
It will be Tuesday, yeah. So we'll see what they do with that. Like I said, I'm not really looking forward to this, but if they give me something different, then I'll say, hey, at least they did something unpredictable. They changed my mind on this. Good for them. So now Jean Paul, probably like the best match of the whole show. Keep Zabian with Penelope Ford going against Chucky Cheese or Chuck Taylor, and go with the Orange Cassidy with Freshly Squeezed. And they had a good match. And also that they're still hyping Kip Sabian because he's going to go against Dustin Rhodes in that bracket of the TNT Championship. So, what are your thoughts on that? I think they did a good job. It was a good match.
Oh yeah, like we've been seeing a lot of Trent, a couple months ago in singles action, and he was tearing the house down. And then we see, now we're finally seeing Chucky T in singles action because he's just as legit of a wrestler as Trent is. So we're seeing him in this match. It was a good match. Our boy Orange Cassidy, of course, got involved. Penelope Ford got involved as well, and then Jimmy Havoc, who I thought this was like just a joke, but apparently he's a shoot roommate with Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford or something. So he came out there. He was causing interference. So there was a whole bunch of interaction. And Again, I don't know if it's maybe because everything that's going on, the Lucha Bros maybe went back to Mexico. Maybe they were like, hey, thank you. Until this is done, we're out of here, whatever. But it seems like they're kind of moving them on to a different feud because we haven't seen the Lucha Bros. And, if they are in something with Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian or whatever is going on, I mean, to me, like, it should be good matches. Or maybe this was just a one-off thing and we're not going to see anything from this again. But I don't know. Like I said, Trent, he lost. It was a dirty way he lost. Again, maybe they're just gonna brush it away and be like, there's no revenge for Trent. But it was a legit match. It was definitely, I think, the second best match because the main event was still legit to me. It was just kind of stunk that it was like not too hyped and it was, or maybe overhyped. Maybe that's what killed it. Maybe all those like vignettes from like everybody
Well,
beforehand, maybe not into
I
the main
think it
event.
is a lot of reasons, but we'll go over that when
Yeah,
we
yeah,
get there.
yeah, yeah. But this match itself though was definitely legit.
It was better. So Keep Sabian runs at like Chuck E. Cheese or Chuck E. T in the corner, but gets caught with a foot to the face. Then Penelope Poor gets on the apron and takes her jacket off, kind of distracting Chuck. He's like, "Whoa, I have puppies!" Like the king will say it, and then Kip punches him. And then Orange Cassidy gets on the apron and takes his jacket off, distracting Kip. That's at least the funny part. Freshly Squeezed is legit. He knows how to like sell with not even talking. So that's a different kind of seller. Freshly Squeezed is just badass. So then Jimmy Havoc pulls Cassidy off and he hits a DDT on the floor. Then Penelope hits a Hurricanrana from the top rope to Chuck. Then Keith Sabian pins him for the win. So Keith Sabian gets a win. That's good once again because next week he's probably going to go against Dustin and see he needs to go with the momentum that he needs. And probably I think he will get over. He will go over Dustin because Dustin I
Oh,
think he needs to start
definitely.
put over other people. But knowing that like it's going to be heel against heel, I'm thinking maybe Dustin will go and then he will go against Lars Archer. And then he will say I beat your brother and everything and then you're going to go to get the final with Cody.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely make more sense if you're booking it from the story aspect and like the emotional thing, because it could be where like, oh, he beats Dustin for the 1, 2, 3, and then he brutalizes him even more so after the match, really get the heat. So that would make sense for the storyline wise. But I think if you're just trying to get talent over, Kip Sabian should win just because it's like, okay, like Dustin Rhodes, no offense, Dusty's legit, but it's our Goldie rather is legit, but it's like why does he need to keep winning when you have other guys who are your future? He's not your future. Maybe he's your future for a producer and a writer and stuff like that, but an in-ring competitor, his job should be getting people over instead of beating them. But
Yeah.
we'll see what they do. Like I said, normally they don't really let us down. They might not take us on the right path that we think, but we always get to the destination we want, usually with AEW.
That's true. See, that's a pretty great analogy. I agree 100% with you. And we get a replay of last week when Cody beat Sean Spears, the perfect 10 seconds. Following that, we get a clip of Spears beating Badass Billy Gunn on AEW Dark last night. Ooh, he beat Billy Gunn. Yay! He's like a future world champion then. Promote the guy. Like the next rivalry should be John Moxley then. Woo! AEW Dark because nobody
I mean,
watched.
I'm telling you, if he would have been booked legit in the beginning with Tully Blanchard, that could have easily been a feud. Moxley versus Dillinger, you make him legit, make him take out a bunch of people with chair shots, make him take out, the Young Bucks, whoever, Kenny, make him like legit just sneak up on people, clock them with the chair. It would have been legit.
It would have been good.
And then he has Tully, but instead they turned him into what they turned him into. So it is what it is.
The 10-second loser. So he goes against Justin Law. Again, we need a win. So we're gonna give you a pretty great talent. We're gonna give you like what they said, like the $2 steak.
Yeah, tougher than a $2 steak.
We're gonna give you a talent that is tougher than a $2 steak, and Justin Law was the right man for the job. So pretty much Spears ran him down, and he gets the win. And he gets down on all fours, and it's like a no amateur thing for Justin Law. And then he offers him to roll him over, but instead Law rolls him over for like a near fall. Then Spear gets mad.
Yeah, they were getting down like in normal amateur, and I'm not amateur, but just like the actual sport of wrestling, like the high school,
the Romo record, the Romo
yeah,
record,
Greco-Roman.
Greco-Roman. There you go, Roman record. That's what it is. There you go.
Roman
My
Reigns.
English. Remember that. Remember my
Yeah,
English.
yeah. You remember, you got to pick up Andrade on the way to school.
Yeah,
Remember?
yep. Pretty much. We take turns. We
Yeah.
take. Yes. So
Does
like in the
Charlotte
great.
ever, does Charlotte ever drive or no?
Yeah,
Does she,
that's true.
does she ever pick you
That's
guys
true.
up or no? No, she's.
Exactly. So, like Greco-Roman, like they tried to do that, but then Spears gets really pissed off about that. So then he goes and he hits a big lariat, and then he hits the C4, and then he gets the win. Pretty much, really quick. Are we excited for Spears? Like you said it ever since in your debut match on Raw Break. You said like the guy should have been portrayed different because he had a lot of future. But since he hasn't ever won with a really meaningful talent, that's what we get. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much what we get. So we get like, of course, now the next matches for next week on Dynamite, and then we're gonna keep Sabian. We'll just talk about him with Dustin Rhodes, Darby Allin against Sami Guevara for the TNT Championship in that round of the brackets, and then we're gonna get Freshly Squeeze. He's gonna have his singles match against Jimmy Havoc. I hope that Freshly gets the win because
Oh
Havoc.
yeah, he should. Yeah, Havoc to me is one of those guys. He's like in the QT Marshall. He's in like the tier or two lower than Shawn Spears, where it's like, hey, you'll get a win on AEW Dark against Sonny Kiss, but that's really the only win that you're gonna get. I'm sorry to say, but you're here to get everybody else over.
Exactly. So, and also we're gonna see Kenny Omega in action, and we're gonna get a little bit of a thing with Brody Lee and the Exalted One. He's gonna like show up because this week he had the weekend off because
Mm-hmm.
like doing the parody with McMahon, he was busy doing other things. So,
I wonder
Mister
if that means. I wonder if that means next week he's gonna fire for. And I don't want to make a joke, but I wonder if he's gonna fire 40% of the Dark Order.
I know. Now I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of go that route because they want to keep going with that situation. But you're right. I mean, we're not going to go that far. We're not easy. We're not ECW yet. Then we
Mm-hmm.
go to the extreme. But good call on that. AEW World Heavyweight Championship match, no holds barred. John Moxley against Jay Hager. Match pretty. I will say what like 35 minutes. Like
Oh
really,
yeah, they,
really
they
long.
definitely gave this. They definitely gave this match time.
Jim
Um,
Rose was on commentary for
yeah,
this.
yeah. Jim Ross, yeah, they probably filmed it and he phoned in or he watched it live somehow, and then they, filmed it, synced up the
Skype.
audio, whatever. So yeah, exactly. But it was legit. It was hard hitting. They used toys. Moxley with some submissions and stuff. Arm bars, cross arm breakers, stuff like that. It was legit. But again, the whole time watching it, it's like, oh, when's the paradigm shift? When's the paradigm shift? You're waiting for it. You're waiting for it. Because, again, like, it wasn't like, oh, Moxie's going to, pass out. Or he even had Moxie in the ankle lock. And Moxie's like, go ahead, break my damn ankle. If you're telling your opponent to break your damn ankle, like, you have no fear. You're not losing. You know what I mean? So it's like, I appreciated it because of how legit and how hard these guys went. But when you know the outcome, it's like, oh, okay. Like, imagine you watch, like, Shawn Michaels against, The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And you're like, and somebody told you right when the bell rings, oh, Taker's going to win. You'd be like, oh, okay, that's legit. But you wouldn't be as invested into the match because every time Shawn hits him with a super kick and it's 1-2, he's kicking out. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that was like the same thing here. It's like when you kind of know what the ending's going to be, the match isn't as special.
Yeah, I will say that, and well, they did go all over the
Mm-hmm.
building. They hit each other like really stiff, like you said. They used the chairs. They used like a lot of arm bars and everything. There was a legit explanation from Taz of how he's applying that submission hold, and then he said if Moxley's in that situation, then it's done. So I really appreciate how Taz was even like going
Mm-hmm.
into in further
Oh
detail
yeah. Like I
when
said,
it
when they had
comes to like
Taz,
the ability of Jake Hager and Bellator
yeah,
to make people
Taz to me
make.
was definitely one of the legit ones that they had, and they really only should have had. And like Excalibur was on there. I think he picked Moxley. Like he was all right. Like when it's AEW people, I'm like, oh, okay. And if they would have had one or two people from Bellator, like it should have been four of these things max, like four of them, and I would have been
and
good
and
with.
one on each break. That way you
Yeah,
don't get like
exactly.
just like the whole freaking roster. Next time interview Sonny Kiss, interview like Titus for like hair Gronkowski.
Yeah.
I know they're not but like you know what I mean is everybody has their own opinion, so keep asking people. And like they did go to the extent of like you said, like they go like they were swearing. It was oh son of a bitch, blah blah blah, and like oh
Uh,
tap bitch tap. So like it was intense. But the fact that there was no crowd took a lot of it of the match. Because if there would have been crowd, at least I feel that like the crowd would have been like, no, don't tap, and you get more invested in it. But we knew that like the title was not going to change just because it's an empty crowd.
Exactly.
An empty arena, nobody's there. So that's why I was like, there's no way that you will give the title to Jake Hager in a situation like this. So you
Yeah.
knew that at some point Moxley was going to win.
And again, even if there was, 13, 14,000 people in this arena screaming, going crazy, the ending would have been the same. The match would have been the same. It just would have been more contained, more in the ring. If they're booking this for television, it would have been the same thing. Paradigm shift on the chair and done. They weren't going to be like, oh, yeah, Jake Hager wins in front of all these people. No.
No, it would not be like that. So I agree with you. So like, let's go to like the final break action. Jake Hager is still in charge. He grabs the chair and smashes Moxley ankle with it. Then Hager takes into the ankle lock on Moxley, and Moxley is screaming in agony. Hager keeps going, tap, tap. My wife wants me to get that title, tap. And Moxley responds, no, you'll have to break my ankle, like Jean Paul was saying, break my fucking ankle. So Moxley then rolls forward, sending Hager out of the ring. And then Hager runs back and he gets hit with a paradigm shift into a choke. So that was cool. See, that was like a really good spot right there. Like these two have chemistry. They know each other from WWE.
Oh, yeah.
They put a good stuff. They put a good match. So that's twice. Like that's the second time that John Moxley hit the DDT, the paradigm shift or dirty deeds, however you want to call it, or the butterfly DDT, double arm DDT. There you go, all the names. And Jim Ross didn't know what it was. Like you could see kind of like I'm like, come on, Jim, like you know what it is. Can you say it? Come on. And that was happened, like you said. They probably filmed this and they had him add like the audio. So it's like, well, somebody can be, hey, here's the paradigm shift. 30 deeds, Jim. Come on.
Yeah, there was no Excalibur to tell him what it was. He was like, 30 deeds. He's like, buy my barbecue sauce.
Yeah, barbecue sauce or like or like DDT. I'm like, okay. So Hager climbs to his feet, holding Moxley, and then he shakes him off. Then Hager hits a low blow, and then runs at the champion, but he gets a chair, and it gets thrown at his face. So Moxley gets the chair, and it gets thrown at his face, and then Moxley hits the paradigm shift onto the chair and scores the pinfall. This paradigm shift actually was like the quick version of it. It wasn't like the long one that you take, you lift them up, and then you let them land on your like forehead and everything. It was like very quick. It was a quick version.
See, I would have, if I was him, like if I would have ended this match to make it more legit, it should have been exactly that. But he should have did the quick, like the snap, like you said, a snap paradigm shift, boom. He should have held him in it, stood up, and hit it again.
Yeah.
He should have hit it twice on the chair because we saw when he hit it on Jake Hager, like 3-4 seconds later, he popped back up.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, I understand he just went through a hell of a more grueling match than he did that night. But and it was on top of a chair, but it's like really like you should have had it where you see superstars kick out of the most craziest thing. So it's like, why not have this guy have to suffer 2 of them in a row on a chair? Because then he at least looks like legit. It's like, oh, he had to do 2 of them on a chair to pin him.
And for example, see, don't you think that like you're securing the win? It's like, for example, in the game you have 2 finishers, you do it both. It's just why? Because I want to make sure that he is done. He's done. So like, I will think that's how you will do it. But it was 1 DDT, 1, 2, 3. John Moxley is still the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and Jake Hager has his first loss. He's not undefeated anymore, so that's another thing to take off the inner circle. Yep, all of them have lost.
He's also homeless now. Hopefully he can move in with Jericho, and they just gotta maybe like try to social distance a little bit because his wife said that only winners are allowed in their house, so he's done. He's homeless. Can we get a please help Jake Hager? Maybe he can live in one of the back rooms at the Bellator facility or something. Who knows? Wherever.
But unfortunately, Mr. Hager lost, and he is no longer undefeated and no longer has a house. And we feel a little bad.
I guess he has a house. He probably still pays for it. He's just not allowed to live.
He's not welcome there. He's not allowed.
It's like Fred Flintstone. Like when Fred Flintstone leaves the door, I don't remember he's taking out the trash or what the hell, but then he closes the door and then he beats on it for Wilma to let him in. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
bigger.
good show. Good show. We will do Road Break, World Break retro shows at some point if you guys want that. But that's pretty much closes this episode of Dynamite. In the end, a little bit enjoyable. We're gonna
Oh yeah.
watch NXT in like a little bit so we can do the show for you guys. A lot of uncertainty when it comes to
Mhm.
NXT. We already mentioned like we have like confirmation of this news that they were gonna get paid for 30 days for like another month. But after that period of time, and it says quote, they can do whatever they want,
Yeah.
meaning they can search for work anywhere else. But like Jean Paul and I are thinking, there's no way that the talent of NXT are just gonna like start like leaving the company, leaving like the brand, and search work somewhere else because pretty much like they don't have a reason to do so. So I feel that they're gonna stay.
Yeah,
They
because
can
like I
stay.
said, it's not like WWE is the only company that this is happening to. It's not like, oh, I can leave WWE and I mean, yeah, AEW is still going, but it's not like WWE is shutting down permanently. And what are you going to do? What is Adam Cole, Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, Keith Lee? Like we said, all these guys going to go to AEW? No, because what are you going to do with all these guys? Then it will be the same thing that Vince McMahon had. He had way too many toys and he couldn't play with them all. That's what these wrestlers are, essentially to these, bookers, these owners. It's just a bunch of toys. You can't play with all your toys. You can only play with some. So these ones are just going to go on the shelf, and then eventually they're going to get brought back, and Triple H is going to have a bunch, things planned out for all of
Like
them when they
yeah,
come
I
back. So,
hope that that's what happens because this is what we love. This is the reason why we do this every single time is for professional wrestling, and from this situation is hurting every single aspect of our
mhm.
lives. We feel bad for these people. We love
Yeah,
them. Hey, we might criticize what happens in the ring, but outside we love them all because they do whatever it takes to entertain us. So this wraps it up, Jean Paul. Thank you so very much to every single one that is watching our videos, subscribers. Thank you again for keeping believing in us. We're gonna have a lot of things for you guys. We have more interviews coming along. We are not allowed to reveal who is it, but we have a lot of surprises coming your way. Don't forget social media world with Jean Paul, where when people can find us.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, the only YouTube channel that you need to be subscribed to in the wrestling community, right here on Road Break. Like you said, we have this is going to be a breaking story for the next couple of days, maybe even could be for up to a week till it's all said and done and all the names are revealed and figured out. So follow us on social media because we're going to have it to you as soon as it happens.
That's right. So, Jean Paul, you and me have one left thing to say, and that is start charging it. Start charging it. Thank you so much, family. We'll be back tomorrow with NXT review, baby. Take care, all of you. Wash your hands. And.
Uh,
Uh,